Recently, we witnessed a hopeful shift in regional dynamics, arguably the best Middle East news of 2020, which was a very challenging year for all. The United Arab Emirates, Bahrain, Sudan, and Morocco established diplomatic relations with Israel. These are the first of such agreements in more than 25 years, when Israel had established a treaty with Jordan, and before that, a peace treaty with Egypt. They represent a huge paradigm shift. Today, Arab countries are refusing to put aside their own interests, and instead, they're seeing the strategic and economic value of normalization with Israel. These shifting dynamics provide an opportunity for the Biden administration to narrow the divide between Israelis and Palestinians. Some people on both sides of the political spectrum view normalization as a bypass road around the Palestinians, sidelining them from the peace process. However, I believe normalization is a bridge which creates greater potential for progress between Israelis and Palestinians. This is especially true as Emirati normalization has removed the prospect of Israeli annexation within the West Bank for the foreseeable future. The administration should pursue a strategy that reinforces positive trends in Arab-Israeli state-to-state and people-to-people cooperation. These goals could be achieved through a formation of a network of normalizing Arab states, Israel and the Palestinians. This collaboration and partnership would improve security and economic conditions for Palestinians and the region at large, while promoting Palestinian self-governance and preserving the two-state idea. The $3 billion Abraham Fund, which provides loans for private economic and infrastructure projects, could be a vehicle to promote this progress. When thinking about the prospect of a final status deal between Israelis and Palestinians, the Biden administration should learn lessons from the past. 4 previous administrations have attempted this feat, swinging for a home run but striking out. Due to distrust between the parties and gaps on core issues, a final status agreement is not possible at this time. But it is possible for Washington to hit some singles, like differentiating settlement activity, which is essential for avoiding the slide to a one-state reality. The U.S. should strive to open quiet dialogues to achieve an understanding based on Israel's agreement to limit new construction within the security barrier, assuming a willingness to accept the principle of land exchanges. If Israel agrees to differentiate its approach, the U.S. policy must also differentiate between settlements that impede 2 states and those that do not. This would not be an endorsement of settlement activity anywhere, but a more strategic approach to keep the door open for a 2-state solution. By taking feasible steps forward, such as deepening and expanding upon Arab-Israeli normalization and differentiating settlement activity, progress on Israeli-Palestinian peacemaking is possible. Read more in my presidential transition paper, Building Bridges for Peace, U.S. Policy Towards Arab States, Palestinians, and Israel.